Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news now. If you've been following the Browns offseason, you know that the quarterback position has been one of the hottest topics. It's always a big deal for Cleveland fans, isn't it? Every year the question lingers, who will be the guy leading this team? And this year, the situation is even more intriguing because the Browns are entering the season with a very unique quarterback competition. Not just one, but 4 potential starters, which is quite unusual for a team that's aiming high. But let's get into the details because the landscape is changing fast, and the stakes are higher than ever. So, here's the scoop. The Browns are facing a quarterback battle that involves some experienced veterans and promising young players. The main contenders: Joe Flacco, a veteran with a Hall of Fame-worthy career, and then a handful of young guns, including the highly talked-about SHEDEUR, who's been generating a lot of buzz throughout training camp. Now, it's important to understand that Sanders, despite all the hype, probably isn't going to be the Week 1 starter. Why? Well, it's about experience, familiarity, and the coaching staff's confidence in their current roster. Joe Flacco, with his history and understanding of the offense, is currently seen as the frontrunner, at least for the beginning of the season. And if you've been paying close attention to what analysts are saying, you'll know that some experts, like Rich Eisen, are actually backing this assessment. Eisen, a well-respected figure in the NFL media world, recently broke down the Browns' quarterback situation on his show. And what did he say? Well, he thinks Flacco is the best option right now, at least for the start. Eisen pointed out that Flacco has a strong grasp of Kevin Stefanski's offensive system, and that chemistry, especially early in the season, can be crucial. He mentioned that Flacco and Stefanski are kind of lockstep, which means they're on the same page, and that's a big advantage when trying to get off on the right foot. Eisen also highlighted that this Browns team, offensively, might be better than the one Flacco was a part of in previous seasons. He referenced the potential of Jerry Jeudy, if he can replicate the form he showed last year with a different set of quarterbacks. Jeudy, a dynamic wide receiver, could be a game-changer for Cleveland, giving Flacco a reliable target and making the offense more explosive. It's all about maximizing what's available, and Eisen believes that Flacco, despite being near the end of his career, can still provide that stability and experience to help Cleveland contend early on. But of course, everything has a timeline. Flacco isn't a long-term solution. Most of us know that. He's not the future franchise quarterback. His best days are probably behind him. The Browns are aware of that too. The question is whether they're willing to ride with him for now and see how far they can go, or if they want to explore younger options sooner rather than later. The truth is, if the Browns want to compete at a high level from the get-go and aim for a deep playoff run, having a seasoned quarterback like Flacco might be the best shot they have right now. Especially considering the offensive weapons they have, with guys like Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and potentially a healthy Nick Chubb if he's back from injury. And let's not forget the importance of this season for Cleveland's long-term plans. The Browns have been building this roster with a lot of talent, trying to stay competitive and push for a Super Bowl appearance. But it's all about the quarterback position. Is there a future star on this roster, or are they going to have to look beyond the current roster once again? That's what everyone is waiting to see. If the Browns find that their long-term answer isn't on the roster yet, then rolling with Flacco might be their best strategy to maximize their chances this season before they hit the reset button again in 2026 or beyond. Now let's take a step back and look at the broader picture. The AFC North is no joke this year. The Bengals have Joe Burrow, who's coming off an injury but remains one of the top QBs in the league. The Ravens have Lamar Jackson, who's always a threat both with his arm and his legs. And even Pittsburgh, under Kenny Pickett, is looking to take a step forward. So for Cleveland, this isn't just about winning some games, it's about establishing themselves as a division powerhouse. That's why the quarterback position is so critical. It's the engine that drives the entire team, especially in a league where every possession matters and the margins are razor-thin. And speaking of the Browns' roster, it's worth noting that this team has been built with a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Their defense, historically strong, remains a formidable unit, led by stars like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. Offensively, the addition of players like Elijah Moore and the potential return of Nick Chubb after his injury last season could make the Browns' attack one of the most balanced in the league. However, all of this hinges on who's under center. The quarterback's performance can elevate the whole team, or conversely, hold them back. Looking at the statistics and recent trends, Flacco's experience gives him a certain advantage. Over his career, he's shown that he can be clutch in critical moments, and his deep ball accuracy has always been a strong suit. The question is whether he can still operate at the same level after all these years, especially in a system that requires quick decision-making and adaptability. Meanwhile, Sanders and the other young quarterbacks are still developing, and their upside is undeniable, but the learning curve is steep. For a team that wants to contend now, the decision to start Flacco temporarily makes a lot of sense, especially if it helps them secure wins early in the season and build confidence. Now, let's delve into the expectations for this Browns team in 2024. Many analysts see Cleveland as a dark horse, with a real shot at making a deep playoff run if everything clicks. The defense is expected to be among the best in the league, and the offensive line has been revamped to provide better protection for whoever is behind center. The biggest question mark remains the quarterback position. If Flacco starts the season and manages to keep the offense moving efficiently, it could buy the team enough time to evaluate their other options. But if he struggles, the pressure on young players like Sanders or even another veteran could intensify quickly. What's fascinating about this situation is the potential for a mid-season quarterback change, which is not uncommon in the NFL. If things aren't going well, Cleveland could pivot and give one of the young guns a shot, especially if they see glimpses of promise. But that's a gamble, and smart teams tend to prefer stability early on, especially when the stakes are high. The Browns' coaching staff, led by Kevin Stefanski, has to weigh these choices carefully, balancing the short-term goal of winning games with the long-term strategy of developing a franchise quarterback. So from a fan's perspective, there's a lot of excitement and anticipation. Will Flacco be able to keep the team afloat and set them up for a playoff push? Or will the Browns turn to their young talent sooner than expected? Either way, it's a season full of possibilities, and for Cleveland fans, it's about staying optimistic and believing in the process. This team has the talent, the coaching, and the drive to make some noise, but the quarterback situation remains the biggest storyline. And that storyline could define the Browns' entire 2024 season. Looking ahead, if Flacco does start strong, it could give the Browns a window to evaluate who they really have behind him. If Sanders or another young quarterback impresses in limited action, that could accelerate their timeline. On the other hand, if Flacco struggles, we might see a quick shift, and the spotlight will turn even more to Cleveland's future at quarterback. For now, the focus is on how Flacco manages the initial games, how the offense performs, and whether the defense can carry the load when needed. It's a delicate balance, but one that could lead to great rewards or tough lessons. And let's not forget the history of the Browns in the NFL. Since their reactivation in 1999, Cleveland has been searching for stability at quarterback, trying different players, draft picks, and veterans, but rarely finding that long-term answer. Every season, there's hope that this will be the year, and every season, the QB question remains unresolved. Will this be the year the Browns finally find their franchise guy, or will they continue to play the waiting game? That's what makes this season so intriguing. Every game, every drive, every decision could be a step toward that answer. As we wrap up, remember, the Browns are a team with a passionate fan base, rich history, and a roster packed with talent. They're aiming high, and this quarterback battle is just the beginning of what could be a memorable season. Whether it's Flacco, Sanders, or another player stepping up, the storylines are unfolding in real time, and Cleveland fans are right in the middle of it. So stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep rooting for your team because this season could be one of the most exciting in recent memory. The journey is just getting started, and every pass, run, and tackle counts. Cleveland Browns fans, this is your moment. Let's see where it takes us. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And finally, as we look to the future, it's clear that the Browns are in a critical phase of their rebuilding process. They've assembled a talented roster, a coaching staff eager to prove themselves, and a fan base hungry for success. The quarterback position remains the wildcard, the key to unlocking the full potential of this team. Whether Flacco can be that spark early on, or if the team's young guns will take over sooner than expected, only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, Cleveland is back in the conversation, and they're aiming to make some serious noise in the AFC North and beyond. This season is shaping up to be a roller coaster, full of high-stakes decisions, unexpected twists, and moments of brilliance. The Browns are no longer just the underdog, they're contenders, and every game will be a test of their resilience, talent, and strategic vision. So, Browns fans, keep your hopes high, stay passionate, and be ready for an exciting ride. The journey to another Super Bowl appearance might just be beginning, and Cleveland's story is one you don't want to miss. Buckle up, because the season is about to kick off, and it's going to be one for the history books.